Good morning. Thank you for attending our Finance Committee meeting this morning. Today's date is Monday, November 21st, 2025, 10 a.m. this morning. At this time, we have a call to order. We have our invocation by Councilman Irvin, as well as our pledge of allegiance.
Good morning. Lord, we just come to this time to just thank you for this beautiful day you have given us, Lord. I ask you to continue to pour out your blessings upon it. Lord, help us to get, help the knowledge here to be spread and that we all understand what's going on with the finances of the city of Bogalusa, Lord. Lord, I just ask you to continue to pour out your blessings upon each and every citizen in the city, Lord. And Lord, I ask you to just bless all the departments, Lord, police, fire, and public works, and all the departments, and finance, and everything. That this week will be a time of safety and protection, get a lot of things done and accomplished. And as we come upon this season of Thanksgiving, we have lots to be thankful for. Thank you for the freedom that we have to come into this room, Lord, to discuss your business, Lord. In Jesus' name I pray.
Amen. Let us salute. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, this time we have roll call. There's Truly for your case. President. We have Vice President Irvin.
Here, and as just a point of order, is that this meeting is for discussion purposes only. No vote shall be taken.
Also, thank you, Councilman Irvin. Also, we have Councilwoman Temple. Yes. Okay. We have approval of our minutes. Last finance meeting was on November 13th, 2023, and you can view it at our website, or if you need a copy, you can do a public request on our meeting from November 13th, the last financial meeting. Our agenda discussion this morning will be on our financial statements, financial resources, such as grants that we might have available, 2025 revised budget, 2026 budget, and update on where we are, and 2022 closeout, which is complete at this time, and we have update on our 2023 closeout where we are. Questions will be held after the agenda discussion, and other financial matters that we may have will be discussed as well. Announcements and meeting adjourned. So we'll start with our financial statement, and we have three folks here from our finance department. We have Ms. Chastity Bigger, we have Ms. Reed Blackwell, and we have Mr. Anthony Jones. And they will start in their perspective on which items they would like to start off discussing. We do have the financial statements first of all.
President Gates, if it's okay with y'all, we'll go ahead and start with the 25 revised budget.
That's okay. Is that okay with the
Yes.
council? Yes.
All right, so with the 25 revised budget, if you take a look at our second page here, it's the combined summary estimate of revenues, expenditures, and fund balances. You notice so you'll notice that for our total budget, we had about a $1.7 million increase in our net change in fund balance, and that was due primarily to a couple things. One of them, in our original budget, we had $995,000 in depreciation for equipment that we weren't able to identify, and we went back and looked in our financial software and we saw that this depreciation had not been budgeted for the last 5 years. So we went ahead and backed that out until we could get a better understanding of why that depreciation was added in there. In addition, we had about $1 million in repairs to our public works systems that never took place. It was budgeted for 1.5 million, and a little over 500,000 took place. So that's $1 million in repairs that we also backed out. In addition, salaries and wages were down 57,000, and revenue was up 102,000 there. Let's walk over to our general fund. Our expenditures were lower about 200,000, and we had about $180,000 increase in transfers from some of our special funds. There's some additional decreases for this. For example, in general administrative staff, we have a 26.5K decrease in salaries and wages, and there's some small decreases throughout the departments as well, as you can see. But that's the majority of that difference.
Difference, okay. Okay, I see you, general fund, we have revised, 13 down to 10,000. I'm looking on page 4. Okay. Now with the council, I'm looking at the council per se. 293, revised to 207. Now, does that include the training for the council as well, or is that
Yes, ma'am.
the same?
No, that does include the training. The majority of the difference between the proposed and revised budget for city council, for instance, was a little over a 50% decrease in your auditing fees. Our original budget for $175,000 and $83,400 is what was spent on auditing. So that makes up the majority of that difference.
Okay, it looks like, and usually, when we discuss salaries, we would have to go into executive session. But I will say, there's some salaries in here that actually increase, and I'll get with you on that, on the increase of some individuals that, and we will talk about them in the 2026 budget as well. As far as the revised budget, I do see that. Okay, one other question. The fund balance. Now, I did notice on the final page, it's the fund balance. I want to make sure we have that in place. We want to hear from it
While she's looking at sales tax, where are we at? Are we, as far as in 2025, have we been, all these months, let's boil it down. Has it been up or down for the year?
It's been a little bit down at this point. Now we're estimating for the remainder of the year.
Year over year.
Right. So
25 versus 24.
through, yes, sir. We also, so one of the challenges in preparing the budget is, I think Ms. Ring will be able to attest to this as well. We're dealing with some entries into the general ledger accounts where the account revenue or expenditures may have been coded as not appropriate. So we're still working through a lot of that, and I think that may actually speak to one of the questions you just asked, Ms. Cates. The beginning and end fund balances, and speaking with Mr. Nelson, our fiscal administrator, it was decided to remove the beginning and ending fund balance from the budget right now because of the lack of confidence in some of those entries and the numbers that they were giving us. So,
and where is that in the budget? I'm looking at two negatives on page 4. Yeah, on page 4. And I see that, you know, below that, page 4, the fund balance itself, the actual fund balance, which is in the budget.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm looking at page 40, but maybe I might be better.
Okay, so what you're looking at there is, this is the utilities. This last page is part of the utility systems. And the negative that you see there is the transfer outs to the general fund.
Yeah.
So those two negative figures that you see at the end are proposed in the actual transfers out to the general funds. That's not
That's not,
no, ma'am, that's not our ending fund balance. Again, that ending fund balance, at this point, we're estimating that we will have a surplus. But again, due to the lack of confidence in the accounting, the account coding in the general ledger, we still have a lot of auditing to do there, corrections to make. That consumes the majority of this room this day, so we are still looking.
so we have some additional auditing for the 2025 revised budget.
Yes, ma'am. So what we mean by that is, for instance, we have an account, I'll give you for example, we have an account on the general ledger that's specifically for police and fire, municipal, civil.
Retirement, the retirement, municipal service.
Yeah, the civil service line items.
They got those mixed up.
And so-
And all retirement going to the civil service, which only has a couple of items a year.
Yeah.
The secretary's, salary plus a few incidental expenses like post office stock and things like that. So there should not be any interest to that account. And now they put all the retirement to it for last year. So we're working on that. We just discovered that last week, I guess.
Oh, that's-
While he was doing the 25 budget, amended budget, is when we discovered all that. So that's gonna take time because we have our other duties regular each month.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
so that not only creates a large deficit in that account, it creates what looks like a surplus in the account that it should be.
Mhm.
So anytime there's an entry made, it actually impacts two different accounts in the general ledger. That's our struggle right now.
Yeah, once again, I do see on page 2, where it gives, the total budget on page 2. So I'm just trying to find out exactly, where the fund balance is within this budget that's presented to the council.
Yes, ma'am. So right now, we're estimating with the lack of repairs on the sewer and water system.
Yeah.
We haven't got the funds in for those yet.
Yeah.
So that's $1 million back out and the $995,000 of depreciation of the money to account for at the moment. We're looking at a 3.4, almost $3.5 million surplus in 2025. For 2025, yes, ma'am. And that's, will have to be, take into account any irregularities in the general ledger accounts that we find.
Yeah.
This is what we're looking at right now. But the fund balance, the beginning and ending fund balance, Mr. Nelson had advised, we want to take that off for now until we get a better hold on what those amounts should be, because what happened in 22 and 23 and 24 will impact
Right, absolutely.
what that 25 beginning would be, which would impact what 25's ending would be. So we kind of back that out until we get a better handle on what 23 and 24 is.
And as Ms. Green indicated, it's gonna take a little time for this, so, in actuality, the revised budget, we need to give you a little more time before it's actually presented to the council.
Well, I think a lot of those corrections,
Okay.
Presented to the council. And did,
yeah, so
but
the amended budget that we have here is what we have.
catching
Right.
things, because I find it kind of hard to believe. I mean, really, there's no mayor. I don't know, it's right now, surplus that high. I mean, I'm looking back on budgets. I mean, I don't know, maybe Ms. Green has been here longer than I have, and maybe I missed something over the years, but.
Well, actually, we're just trying to catch up now.
I know we are.
For the past time, because every time we look at something, it just throws us into something else that we're going to have to correct, so it's sort of like a long process.
So the plan was to present it as is, where it is on this particular budget.
Right, if we're gonna, if we're gonna get anything beyond the amended budget, and there's some things that we are pretty comfortable with, for instance, ad valorem tax, our sales tax, we may see a little.
Repairs.
Then y'all are going to try to attempt to correct it on the 26th.
Yes,
Is that what the plan is?
yes, sir.
All these issues.
Right.
So even though we allegedly will be presented and voted on a revised budget of what's saying on paper, 3 million, there's not written in reality.
And perhaps that could be notarized, in the notes, up front, usually we don't have them.
It should, I think it should say estimated, or to say, I don't know what it should
No, the
say.
problem is these numbers are gonna change.
Yeah, they're gonna change.
Yeah, so at the top of each page, you can see where it says combined summary estimate of that. So this is working with the data that we currently have.
Actually, would we have to finish 23 and then 24 before we know for a fact that it's all going to be correct? What I think.
And that all of your sentiments this morning should actually be, as I said, as notarized notes within the budget itself to be transparent and let people know this is going to be changing, constantly changing.
Change daily.
So-
Yes.
Even with a revised, I'm trying to figure out how to word it, even without at some point that once you get, because at the end of the year, you should have a deficit because you're waiting on sales tax. That's the way things happen, how we the council have been told. That's what I'm saying throughout the whole years, that we, at the end of the year, we wait on sales tax, and then the sales tax will offset. Property tax, I'm sorry.
Property tax.
Property tax, let me get my wording correct. Property tax, because that's a whole, sales tax is something different. Property tax will offset. And what was the property tax collection? We're looking in the rears now, which should have closed out in March of this year. Was property tax around 90%, 92%, something like that?
So we collected ad valorem taxes, $2,981,090. And those are the numbers that Ms. Green is calling for, which she's very confident with.
2.9. 2.9, that is on average what it has been in the
And
past.
the tax notices are being rolled out today for this year.
Even on previous administrations, previous administrations, it happened on the average 2.9. Okay, so that means that y'all collected about 92%, something like that. That's what it should, because you got some people that's adjudicated or have passed on and not paid their taxes. Okay, so, my next question is, I just flipping through here, I must have missed it. Industrial park. Is anyone behind the building in industrial park? Is anybody planning to move out of industrial park?
Not that I'm aware of. Having it in the diamond south last week,
Yes.
they are planning to stay. And nobody else has mentioned to me.
And, see, Robinson. Here's
We're wondering what's going on with Robertson as well.
Okay, I'm in contact with her, and she is supposed to be sending me all of her, return checks, because she says that she's up to date.
Okay.
And other than current payments, yeah.
But now we've been posting so much, we've been posting before, so I can post it too.
So, we'll look and see what their current payments, make sure that they're being made on time. But she's supposed to send me her actual return checks for the past due, 87,000 or whatever it was.
So no one else is up there behind on rent
No.
up there, and everybody's planning to stay in the
Stay.
next year too? Okay,
Right.
right?
And what I just handed you
Also,
was,
there's not gonna go nowhere or nothing like that.
Not that I'm aware of.
That just had, well, I don't know what it's like, it just, somebody on up the food chain just told me they're staying, so.
But they have
That's
not
the plan.
notified us if they are planning to leave. No one has notified us.
I just wanna make sure everything, our ducks in the row for the following year. Yeah.
and their leases are up to par. And I did just hand you a listing on the second page, the listing of the businesses out there, and I wrote it in Bogalusa. But, if you guys can give anybody else, right here, Jeff. If you think, if there's anyone else that's out there, please, let us know.
We've got representative from the Washington Parish,
Economic
Development, she has a question too, no one.
Yes, our question are at the end of the discussion. Okay, Mr.
Yeah,
Johnson.
that looks like a complete list, and I have just recently looked through all the city leases, and that looks to be accurate.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Johnson, any other, discussion, in reference to, any other subject matter that we have listed here? Okay, thank you. Okay, we have our, financial statements, which, was sent to us at our last, meeting. And, any, discussion on the financial statement? And once again, if anyone wants a copy of the financial statement, you may request a copy through our public records request, section. Okay.
Did y'all have any questions about the?
No, just wanted you to just go over general item request. Did you have?
I didn't even bring a copy with me, because that was supposed to be the last meeting.
Okay, well, since we didn't have it.
And this is just basically the most accurate information that we have, based on that we're constantly finding something that has to be corrected.
Okay, within the financial statement, let's see if I got it. No, because our meeting was scheduled last meeting, that's why we didn't go over it. I had left my copy. Any other questions from any other council member?
Any other questions
Point.
at this point?
I mean, like I said, that's gonna be, just like the budget, it's gonna change as we make corrections.
I have another question too. How much is actually left in an industrial park fund? The actual fund itself?
Are we talking about sales tax fund, or are we talking about, rent lease?
I guess, let's start with rent lease.
Less than $100,000, we actually kind of checked it.
Less than 100,000?
Yeah, there's not very much money, because we used that fund down for, the maintenance of the building down there.
You're using it for the maintenance as rent is coming in.
Right, so it's taking up most of it, a lot of it.
So as rent is coming in, you're maintaining the buildings with the rent, which in the landlord situation, that's understandable. But who's paying the insurance on it? Is that money
All
also
of the
paid?
tenants are currently paying the insurance on the building.
Oh, okay, so they're paying
The
it.
city's not paying the insurance on.
Are they listing us as a rider?
Uh,
Are they listing us as a rider? Okay.
That was one of the reasons that I had to leave it out for now.
Yeah, Yeah.
Make sure that-
Make sure they're listing us as a rider.
Right.
But I just wanted to see where we are. All right, so, but the sales tax, there's nothing left on the industrial park sales tax,
No,
right?
that's kind of closed.
Yeah,
Yes.
they got rededicated during the
Right.
voter situation.
And where are we on the balance, for the retirement that was dedicated?
What are we doing now?
The balance,
Are we talking about the unfunded balance?
the balance of that the funds were rededicated because of the retirement system.
Right.
COBRA.
So you want to know how much money is left in that account?
Yes, or how much are we still on that? I guess.
Well, we transfer that money from the first, the deposits go into the first, and we transfer that money over to Hancock
Okay.
to pay the retirement.
Right.
I don't really know how much the balance is, but the investment account has like $7 million,
Okay.
but when the checking account fluctuates. I mean, we put money in, I think it was like $300,000 or $400,000 in it the last time I checked. Because I just checked on the first of the month, when we
Yes.
start to make sure there's enough money in there to cover the
The retirement.
benefit check. And there is, because we transfer the money from the first over to Hancock every month. Now, they were not doing that until, actually, I think when I got here this year. But I've always transferred it every month. I don't leave the money in the first.
Over to Hancock.
And then when this fund in Hancock builds up, then we move a portion of it to the investment account.
Mhm.
But I really don't think anything's been moved this year. I have not moved anything to the investment.
Okay. How about our, the balance in our funds? What do we put?
50,000.
Whatever, you've got the bank statement that I gave you, right? That's what it's at.
Okay, yeah, I got it. Okay, because,
And we
you
have.
know, that was
we
the
have-
actually one time all the funds,
Yeah,
and
we
how
have-
we use it, with our water and sewage.
Personally, I have not moved any money out of the account. I have not used it.
Okay. Okay, any updates on our, with our 2026 budget?
Yes, sir. I estimate about 40% of the way done with that. Like I said, we're working with the 25 amended budgets numbers, and there's been some changes in personnel, for the last couple of months. So just accounting for all that, we really hope to have it to y'all before the
Okay. It was due, December.
On the 2025 revised budget must be voted on this year. 2026, we can go on, but the deadline, the absolute deadline is June 30th, 2026.
So we'll have the 26.
I don't think that long,
Right. I don't want to speak out of turn, but when we're speaking of the fiscal year, we just indicated that, we want to get y'all as accurate figures as we can on this 26 original budget. And then as we continue to make adjustments next year, we'll present an amended, possibly even quarterly.
Yes.
So we can continue, giving y'all the public the most updated numbers that we have.
Yes, and if there are any, adjustments to the 2026, budget, I do, suggest to all department heads, if there are any changes, to get the changes in line. I have some sign-in sheets, that was utilized before, if they have any changes, in the salary and the departments, so that you guys can get, the changes that they have. It may not be, we may not have the funding, but at least we can recognize any changes in their department, police department, there's many needs, that's being expressed, you know. So if we could get that done, so they can get it back, like I said, get it back to, the finance department, so we can see what's what.
Which I'm sure y'all will on the 26 budget. We kind of pretty much can predict, and we're pretty confident that, you know, going forward in this coming tax season, we're going to collect 2.9 million, okay, for property tax, okay? You can pretty much say that, you know, pretty much that's a given. Now, like Mr. David Wolf always says, 2.9 to 3.2. 3.2 is a good day, okay? So, but take into consideration the sales tax year over year. You know, just take into consideration, and according to y'all's numbers, year over year, 25 versus 24, that the sales tax has fallen. Now, I do want to be kept abreast on that. Could y'all bring in the .coms numbers? Because I can tell you.
Went to the tax commission meeting in my place last week, so she could probably update you on
I
that.
have a book in my office, if you want to look at it.
Okay.
From this budget, I would definitely like to see that.
Okay.
Yeah, we'd like to know where to predict. We don't want to come in here and say, oh my God, we had a
Right.
10%, 15% haircut, drop on sales tax revenue. You know, we would like to know. I don't think that's the case, because I still see
I think
Amazon.
the spring said it was a 7.5% increase is what they reported.
Through October of this year.
So it was an increase,
Mm.
7.5% on our side of Bogalusa.
That's what she said.
That's good.
Bogalusa did better than anybody else there.
That's good.
That's what
And they have, like a chart.
Yes.
So it's going to tell you whatever, jurisdiction, their percentages up or down.
Mm.
So that's in that book.
Because I've done my own consumer sentiment around here and picked people at random, and also talked to the businesses around here, and they said the sales tax was doing good. You know, the business was the orders were coming in, all kinds of things, so that's why I was wanting to make sure what y'all, now that aligns with what,
Yeah, what's
what's being said, yes.
Yeah, I was out last week, so she went to the meeting morning, I hadn't even had a chance to look at the information.
Because I used to be in retail, and I learned as a councilman, I like to kind of forecast. We don't like to be blindsided, you know, on these, especially on these budgets, you know,
Yes.
we have to make some changes,
Yes, and keep in mind, the budget will be reviewed by the legislative officer, so we want to make sure that all of us are presenting the correct information to them, and then we have to come back, you know, with this. Now, on our 2022 closeout, that closeout has been complete. Done by Ms. Becky Hammond, that's a person that does our closeout, and now 2023 closeout is being worked on. I understand it might be a bit easier with the 2023 closeout. She does already have an engagement letter to begin on it. Has she begun to ask any questions or request of any information, documents from the city as far as the 2023 closeout?
She was not talking about it.
Okay. Know anyone else?
No.
Okay. Have we started on our end on any 2020 based on the experience that we had? Have we started?
Everything that we do is in preparation for the audits. You know, all the corrections, all the reconciliations,
Okay.
getting policies in place.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we're constantly working on that.
Okay. And where are we on that?
What do you mean?
Where are we with?
I can tell you that on the twenty-three bank accounts have been reconciled.
Yes.
I can tell. Now, the general fund has a few outstanding items that I have not worked out yet in 2023. But it's something that was really old, that was just, oh, I don't know if it was just overlooked or what it was, or just carried forward, I think, more than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think 23 is going to be much of a problem. I don't think it's going to be that much of a problem when Becky gets here.
Okay.
And I think that most probably, since I'll be here for, I hope, for her, when she's doing the 23, I feel confident that I'll be able to help her know that she had help before.
Mm-hmm.
Because I basically understand it all better than anybody else. That's
Yes.
very far, that's doing the 22. So I don't see a problem. Might be a little involved, but I don't see a major problem no more than we've always had. You know, no more work than we've always had. So I don't anticipate any problems with 23 that we can't look at and take care of.
Now, additional question, which has been issued probably last week or so. Our boards and commissions that may possibly be suspended, how do you think that it would be effective with our budget as far as some of the boards and commissions that would be suspended?
We don't fund those.
Yeah, we don't run those, those
Oh.
are separate lines, yeah.
Okay.
But I have started, I took that stuff home, after that meeting Friday and started looking at it, and I don't think it's going to be as bad as we first thought. I think that there's just some, like with everything else, things not being reported correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So, I hope to finish that up in a couple of days and be able to.
Yeah, speaking of which, not being reported correctly, what fund accounts do you think has not been reported correctly? You have to go back and, update.
That will be the screen.
Okay, tell me again, Gloria?
Which fund accounts do you think has not been reported correctly, and you will have to go back, or you are going back to update those funds?
Well, the airport's not the resident airport. Money, the grants, or whatever they have, I'm not really sure right now what all it was, but I know that that's not done right. I know that, the LCDG, I don't know what they had in the last 2 or 3 years, but I know that's not right. And I know the general fund is all this stuff, that's still, that I'm on September 24 right now, trying to get the general fund straightened out. So, I know those 3, I know there's a sales tax fund that was in those for part. I know that they expected me that kind of thing, since before I retired.
Yeah.
Last time, the time before. So I can just tell you all sorts of things that's wrong.
Okay. But we are in the
Or
process.
we're working on it.
Yeah, we're in the process of working on
Right. Now, like I said, I had everything up through May of 25, and then I've been reconciling the accounts since then. So, except for the general fund and the utility fund, I can tell you that all those funds are up to date and are reconciled correctly. I know that.
it. Thank you. Thank you.
Now, I just want to give a time horizon here, because I have my own, and no offense, Mr. Rainey and the rest of y'all, I have my own time horizon, because you got your work that has to be done on the 23 close out. Then it has to be handed over to Eisner and Amper, is that correct?
Well,
And then it hands up, then Eisner and Amper kicks it over to Bexley and Hammond.
we don't have Eisner Amper anymore. And that's one of the things we were talking about, how we get Eisner Amper back in place.
Right, yeah, we've got another firm.
Right.
They have pulled out, they don't want anything to do with us, basically.
Okay.
Right. So we gotta get that piece.
So we do need that piece.
We need that.
We actually
that step.
here. It's another accounting firm to
Mr.
handle.
Nelson mentioned, and I don't know, about, if this would work, but he said that Carr, Briggs and Ingram is a big enough firm that they can handle both parts of it. And, it would remain segregated, just under the same company.
Right.
Oh, okay.
And we,
I mean, like Becky wouldn't be doing both.
Right.
Somebody else in the
Right.
firm would be doing the financial statements,
Right.
and she would be doing the audit.
and we would definitely have to get, I imagine, clear through legislative office, to use one firm.
Like, regardless of how we handle it, it is something that we need.
That needs to be
And we need to discuss that with them now,
Yes,
before
right.
Ms. Ring is working on that. Because I didn't like to go speedy, because I estimated with all the back and forth and everything, it would be completed and closeout would be done in about 9 months, based on you having all your stuff together and everything that you feel confident. Now, and I'm being
We're
very
talking about
conservative.
23.
Yes.
We're talking about 23.
Yeah, about 9 months, because it takes that time, because you gotta figure out also the CPA firms, whoever you pick, including Becky, they go through seasons, they go through
Right,
personal,
tax
taxes, different tax seasons to those firms do, and it bogs them down. And we've done been through all of this, that's why only certain ones would even take us on, because
Right.
the tax seasons.
Right.
And that's the issue here is we may not have a lot of choices.
Yeah, they just outright, a lot of the public doesn't understand that. They just outright don't want to fool with you because they see easy money coming in from
Right.
businesses that already
Right.
has their bookkeeping done and boom, they can make quick money.
Right.
So, but, anyway,
Yeah, that's exactly, where we are now, in getting that other piece of the puzzle.
I'm being conservative, I'm being real nice about it. I mean, I'm saying it's been going for years.
Oh,
If we can finish, usually, by the time you got, one person, after you get through and say, I'm gonna hand it off to.
I mean, it's not hard to start from being 2 years behind to
Yes.
being caught up within a matter of months.
That's right, that's not gonna happen. Yeah, it can't happen, it's not humanly possible. So, but anyway, all right,
yes,
okay.
and we appreciate the good job of that. Okay, do we have any questions, at this point, in reference to our finances, the finances of the city of Bogalusa? We discussed several, measures today, and that's the park we discussed our fund balances. We discussed the fact that, departments need to get your information in, to be discussed maybe at our next finance meeting, or prior to that, make sure you get it to, the finance folks if you have any additions or deletions, to, hopefully we'll have something on 2026 for you to review through, or if you have anything, present it to them, as we speak this morning. I know we have our other special guest here, Ms. Davis, D'Angela from Washington Parish Economic Development. She was here to do a site, program, that will be established in Washington Parish. Ms. Davis, do you have any questions at this point? Okay. Well, does anyone else have any questions?
Anybody else?
Do you, Councilwoman Tippett?
I have a quick question, just for clarification. The 2025 amended budget needs to be voted on by the end of the year, is that correct? So, we have December 2nd and December 16th, so it will be in the agenda for the 16th, I'm guessing?
It has to be second introduction.
Right,
And
second.
vote on the 16th.
Okay.
Mm.
So that's the way it has to be.
Right, and then my only request is that the notes that were discussed this morning, to, indicate this in the front of the, as far as the message, the message will be from the physical administrator. Okay, what we discussed, this morning, like I said, being transparent with the, and a clearance, more or less, that these instructions are clear through the legislative auditor, as appreciate that. But if there aren't any other questions,
Thank y'all for coming.
I thank everyone for coming.
And have an update on that.
Yes, please, yes.
Okay, so
resources, yes.
on the Hurricane Ida, I have managed to get 3 projects closed out. The debris removal, streets, and administrative costs. We've already been paid the closeout amount on the debris. The amount that was left over was $35,670. This was back in May. Streets was also in May. It was $151,329 that we collected. And just last week, they had started processing a payment for the administrative costs, and that was $37,876. So that's $224,000 and $224,876 from May to November this year that we have managed to collect on projects.
Different old projects, yes, and I understand at this point, we are putting out a bid for our pump through.
The notice went out Wednesday, so I have the dates on that also. The first notice went out on 11/19, which was last Wednesday. It will run again on the 26th and the 3rd. The pre-bid meeting is scheduled for December the 4th at 10 a.m. And the bids will be open publicly at 2 p.m. on 17th.
All right, and make sure you get all that advertised. So it's currently in the middle of advertising.
Last week, it will be this week.
And that is for the sewer treatment plant.
That's for the
All our screws that we have been talking about for a couple of years.
Yes.
So that's, in backwards, okay, got it.
And we, our meeting, we were supposed to have a meeting today for the repaving of Memphis Street.
Yes.
That got pushed to December the 2nd.
Okay. Is that one street instead of the 2
Yeah,
streets? That was in
we
the
had
right?
to revise the project because we didn't have the match funds,
Right.
to meet the difference.
December.
December 2nd, I believe. I'll send you the invoice.
Okay.
Beyond.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay, except we know that we can come to you if we have additional questions.
And Ms. Davis, this is the people who you asked about the industrial park. You're about finances, reporters finances.
Right. Okay, if there aren't any other questions, well, thank everyone for coming today and being pleasant with us today at our finance meeting. And we'll keep you updated on our next meeting as it will probably have one in December, but we'll keep everyone abreast of when it will be our next meeting. This time, thank you again. Meeting adjourned.